What's happening, guys? It's your boy, the Boxing Lowdown, and I'm back here with another video. Now, people, as always, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like, and I'll happily get back to you. Now, Danny Swift Garcia returned to action last weekend, probably his last fight of his career, as we are led to believe. Fourth round knockout win over Daniel Gonzalez, pretty much expected, right? Last fight in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? A home away from home for him. Fought 10 times there now at the Barclays Center, and, produced some memorable nights there. Hasn't always gone his way, but, he's been definitely one of my favorite fighters over the last decade or so, Danny Garcia. Do you know what I mean? Um, I've always liked him. Entertaining fighter, pretty underrated as well. Do you know what I mean? He is a two-weight world champion, unified at 140, picked up a belt at 147, attempted to go up to 160 later in his career and pick up a belt. That didn't happen. Tough. He was underrated in terms of his toughness, I think, and just his overall ability, I think. So what I'm going to do in this video is kind of just look at his resume and say, you know what, does he belong in the Hall of Fame or not? When you look at people that are in the Hall of Fame nowadays, I guess the bar is a bit lower than it used to be, right? But when you talk about very good fighters or great fighters or so on, Danny Garcia's name is not really mentioned to me. And I'm not saying that he's a great fighter or an all-time great, but I think he is a very good fighter. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, not much to talk about over the weekend in terms of his fight. He was always going to win that. Daniel Gonzalez, don't really know much about him at all, but with it being billed as pretty much his last fight, he was not going to pick a very difficult opponent. Do you know what I mean? But one thing that I like about Danny Garcia as well is that he's been very open in terms of his mental health. He's been very open in terms of the fact that he wants a life away from boxing. You know what I mean? And he seems to have made some very good investments. Do you know what I mean? He's invested in like a barbershop. He's invested in his own promotional company. I'm sure there are other investments as well, but yeah, he seems to be doing all right with that DSG brand. So Danny Swift Garcia, if this is his final fight, which, it's pretty much marketed as it is, do you know what I mean? Where does he go in history? Does he make it in the Hall of Fame at all? Let's have a look at his resume and find out. Let's take a look at his resume and we'll go from there. All right, people, let's take a look at Danny Garcia's resume here. I've kind of started, towards the lower end. Let's scroll down a bit further here. I'd go to Nate Campbell. Nate Campbell's a name that I recognize. Before that, I mean, the names on here are pretty much, Ashley Theophane, but, the competition started to ramp up a little bit from Kendall Holt, Nate Campbell time. So split decision win over Kendall Holt, unanimous decision win over Nate Campbell. The standout victory for him was when he obviously won the WBC light welterweight title. That was against Eric Morales. Won that by unanimous decision. One of his better wins, could be potentially his best, was against Amir Khan, right? He was a big underdog going into that fight with Amir Khan, who was on a good run of form. Do you know what I mean? And knocked him out. And it was a tremendous knockout as well. Upset the odds. Had a rematch with Eric Morales after that. Brutal knockout, wonderful knockout he got over Eric Morales there, who was, I have to say, past his prime. Do you know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. He was well past his prime, Eric Morales. But it goes down on his record as a big name opponent that he beat by knockout. Zab Judah at the time was not at his best. He had a few defeats to his name, but he was still a dangerous opponent, one that some people were picking to potentially upset the odds against Garcia, but won that by unanimous decision. Lucas Matisse, one of his better wins as well. He was the underdog going into that fight. That could be his best win because he was very dangerous, Lucas Matisse. Won that one. Mauricio Herrera, wasn't a very good win for him there. Majority decision. That was definitely debated in terms of, if he won that or not. Then he went against Rod Salka, who was nowhere near his level, should never have fought him anyway. That was literally the definition of a tune-up. Lamont Peterson again, that win there was a bit, I remember that. I thought could have really gone either way there. And some people were saying at the time, is he getting the benefit of the doubt in these close fights? So yeah, he won that, but he did, pick up the decision there. Paulie Malignaggi won that by stoppage. Robert Guerrero, unanimous decision, won the vacant welterweight title then. So that's where he became a two-weight world champion. Then he fought Samuel Vargas, was always going to beat him. Keith Thurman lost that on a split decision. I thought that was close. I thought you could have given that to Danny Garcia, to be honest. Same with Sean Porter. I thought that he beat Sean Porter, didn't get the decision. The Keith Thurman one could have gone either way, even though it was a split compared to the unanimous. I thought that, yeah, they could have gone either way, both of those fights. They were very good, entertaining fights, man. And then Adrian Granados won that by knockout win, of course. Even Red Catch, Errol Spence, he got dominated in that, absolutely dominated in that fight there. Lost most of the round, Danny Garcia did. Um, didn't really look like, there were times where he was lagging a bit in that fight where he could have got stopped, but it was not a good fight for him, that Errol Spence one. Came back, beat Jose Benavidez, lost to Erislandy Lara where he was stopped. That fight there, I mean, you look at the timeline between like the Spence fight and the Lara fight. 4 years he's had, pretty what, 3 fights in those 4 years. Do you know what I mean? Inactivity was definitely a thing. So he was definitely on the decline there, Danny Garcia. Yeah, he tried to move up to middleweight to pick up a belt. Didn't go well for him against Lara, who is old himself. He's older than Danny Garcia. He's like 42. So yeah. Then Daniel Gonzalez, which was a formality, really. So yeah. What do you guys think about that resume, man? 42 fights, 38 wins, 4 losses. You know, not the worst record in the world by any means. Two-weight world champion. Is that enough for you to go into the Hall of Fame? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about it, and let's get back to the video from there. So there you have it, people. I have to say, man, you know, when you look at people that are in the Hall of Fame now, I think that Danny Garcia definitely has a say in terms of being put in the Hall of Fame. Some quality names on that list. He didn't beat all of them, but you can't take away from him. And like I said, he had a very good chin as well. Very good chin. His toughness was underrated for me. Very good left hook, tremendous left hook, Danny Garcia. Good right hand. He was just solid. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess in today's world, he can definitely be put in the Hall of Fame for sure. He's not going to be an all-time great, but yeah, I think that he should definitely be recognized as a very good fighter, very good amateur as well, Danny Swift Garcia. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it, man. Does Danny Garcia deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or not? I know there was a big debate about Triple G being in the Hall of Fame, right? Um, he's definitely had, I'd say he's had a better career than Danny Garcia, but I think that Danny Garcia, for me, I'd put him in there. Yeah, I'll say yes. So let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below, people, and I'll catch you on the next video.